I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. We continue in Ezekiel chapter 39 now. In the last chapter, 38, we read of the gathering armies of Armageddon. In this case, referred to as the armies of Magog, Gog of Magog. And he will gather the armies of all the nations that surround Israel into one great army and march to conquer Israel in the last days. But that army will be defeated and destroyed by the power of God. That was the last chapter. Now we read chapter 39, and this will finish out our prophecy in the 12th year of the captivity. Gog and Magog destroyed. For 7 years they burn the weapons of war. For 7 months they bury the dead. Then comes the supper of the great God and the continued gathering of Israel. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and leave but the 6th part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. Thou shalt fall upon the open field, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord God. And I will send a fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name any more, and the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. So this is the basic destruction of the army. The army will be destroyed. He's going to prevent them from using their weapon. He's going to knock the bow out of their hand. So they're going to go up to conquer Israel, and God is going to stop them from doing anything. Now, it's a little more complicated than that. There are other details in other books. But I find this part particularly interesting. They're going to be slain. The animals are going to eat them. That's pretty standard stuff. But then it says, a fire on Magog and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles. That term, the isles, this is talking about the island nations in the Mediterranean, primarily. Cyprus, Crete, these islands. Tyrus was one of these islands. So this destruction is not going to be contained just around Israel. It is going to be going out a little bit. Those who support Gog and Magog, whether they are directly involved in the army, are going to feel the wrath of God just as much. It's not just the army. It's going to be all those who support the army. At least that's the way I read that. Verse 8. Behold, it is come, and it is done, saith the Lord God. This is the day whereof I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth, and shall set on fire, and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handstaves and the spears. And they shall burn them with fire 7 years, so that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forests. For they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, saith the Lord God. So we got to talk about this just a little bit. Imagine the size of this army. They're going to spoil their enemies, meaning the army is going to be destroyed by God, and then Israel is going to go out and spoil the dead. They're going to take all the valuables off the dead, basically. And then they're going to use the weapons of war as fuel. And there's going to be so many of them that it's going to last for 7 years. Now, today we don't fight with spears and bows and swords. This is metaphorical. This is Ezekiel using the weapons of his time to illustrate what will happen in the modern day. If he said they're going to burn the gasoline, the people living in Ezekiel's day would not have known what he was talking about. But he says the weapons of war, all the weapons of war will be burnt. That's what he's talking about, though. That's the fuel, the gunpowder in the missiles, the gasoline, all these things they're going to take. And it's going to provide enough fuel to power Israel, the nation of Israel, for 7 years. That's how big this army is. Consider just how much fuel this army has. And now this isn't just talking about, of course, the fuel in the cars, the fuel in the tanks. This is also talking about the reserves, the tankers that they have to refuel the army. All of it's going to be included. But even with that, this is a massive army. For a single army to have enough fuel that it will power a nation for 7 years, that is a ridiculous army. And then we get this, pay attention, we're going to read a little more here, and it gets even a little bit more ridiculous. But I love the detail here. This is verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog a place there of graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea. And it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Magog. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown the day that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord God. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. And the passengers that pass through the land, when they seeth a man's bone, then shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Magog. And also the name of the city shall be Hamanah. Thus shall they cleanse the land. If you didn't catch that. After the army is destroyed by God, there are going to be 2 classes of workers. The passengers are those, it says they'll have to plug their nose. They're going to have to stop their nose because the stench of decay is going to be so strong. With that many people dead for 7 months, it's not going to smell good. They're going to have to stop their nose, but they're going to pass through, and all they're going to do is they're going to be looking. And when they see a dead body, when they see a piece of a dead body, not even a whole body, just a piece, a bone, a fragment, they flag it. It says they put a sign by, they're going to stick a flag in the ground next to that piece of a body. Then the buriers come in, and they search out the flags. And when they see the flag, they go to the flag, they dig a pit, bury the fragment of body, cover it up, take the flag out, and then they go to the next flag. And this is the process by which they will bury the army of Gog. And it will take 7 months to cleanse the land. And this isn't just, in the past, after a battle, you might go, and in the American Civil War, you went to the field, you dug graves, you tossed the bodies in, but you didn't search for the fragments. You didn't search for the pieces. You just took the main bodies and tossed them in. This is going to be cleansing the land, meaning not a fragment of bone can be left on the surface. Everything has to be buried, and it will take 7 months to do it. Again, this is a massive army because it says everybody will be employed in this, continually employed. Everybody will be doing this work. It says all people of the land shall bury them, and there will be men of continual employment, the passengers. That's going to be their job for 7 months. Probably doing it 12 hours a day for 7 months. They're going to go out there and flag all the pieces, and everybody in the country is going to come behind them and bury them. The detail of this prophecy is astounding, and it shows just how big this army is. I'm actually going to leave that here. This video is already getting kind of long, so we will leave that here and we will finish this in another video, and I will see you there.